You're like, it was really the friends we made along the way. That's who's walking who.
That's who's walking who. And then there was another set of footprints.
I was carrying you.
There's a third set there.
There's a third set of paw prints.
It's a real wag the dog. No. Wag the dog situation.
You got the button.
Naughty. No, you can't use my own button that I bring to the podcast. There's rules here. There's rules.
Do you figure out whose voice that is?
Now, oh, I'm eating brunch with my people though. The homie Dyke just cooked up a feast and we bout to eat it, bro. Fucked around and has to mix the lobster with the poutine. Daddy is rolling blue dream, them boys got down a routine. It's Naptown culture, cooking 7 courses. Had to pass the torch and now I'm grabbing second portion. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and a smoke. It's Harder Brunch on the way and get prepared for the jokes. Whoa.
Hi, and welcome to the Harder Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Dyke Michaels, and with me, as always, my co-host, Thaddeus J. McKee.
Hey, slappy pappy, wah, wah, let's go.
On the ones and twos, the wheels of steel, the sauce boss of Indianapolis, and the last woke dragon. Give it up for Zach Roan.
Hanky skanky, whoa, whoa.
Hey.
And a very special first-time guest in studio with us. And I apologize that it's taken so long, but he's finally here. We finally did it. Hometown hero, comedian Jonathan Pfendler.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
I was looking through my old notes of this original list of people that I wanted to have on the show, and you were on it.
Oh, nice.
You were on the original list, and it took me 3 years to get you on here.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I bet Jonathan Pfendler. My original idea for the show was I just wanted to talk to weirdos.
Oh,
I wanted to talk to. I just wanted to talk to.
What a segue.
Well, I was like, I want to talk to people that are different, and I wanted like local people. So there was like
Local weirdos.
there was like an adult baby that lives in Irvington. I wanted to interview her.
Okay.
Some other types, and then I was just like, for comedians, I was like, I want to get someone who's like a little different. I was like, Jonathan Pfendler would be great.
Does it make you feel better that you're on the list with adult baby?
It does. I mean, any list is like local weirdos. I'm happy to be on.
Oh, good.
So I do have a question. Did the local adult baby get on the podcast?
No, that kind of fell apart. I was concerned about it being exploitive more than funny. And I was just right. I don't know too much about their background, so I wasn't sure if it was like, is this going to be fun for everyone, or is this just me going like
taking advantage?
Yeah, look at this person.
She fell apart, or the idea fell apart?
I think the idea fell apart.
Oh, okay.
I didn't feel good about it. And then also I didn't end up making a show about weirdos, but I did kind of make a show about weirdos.
Doggone it.
Look at this guy.
I don't like how you're looking at me. What, just because I'm wearing hard eyes?
But I say weirdos in the best possible way. I've realized as you just ate with us out in public that like, I'm a weirdo. Like I love hanging out with comics. I love people that are like, against the grain of society. Right. We just sat down at a diner to have a beautiful breakfast, and I'm saying the most inappropriate things at full volume.
Some would say screaming.
I didn't really notice until I stopped talking, and then it seemed like the whole restaurant was like just 10 decibels more quiet.
10 decibels more quiet. And then there was a table of the couple next to us. The guy turned around and stared at us for like, did you guys see that? 20 seconds. And I was like, what? He's eating still, right? He's not going to eat us next.
So he stared at us for 20 seconds?
That's what it felt like.
I felt like when we got up, everybody was staring directly at me, and I was like, oh, I've been a real problem this whole time.
I mean, you said a number of like triggering words at pretty decent volume, even for a diner.
Yeah, it was inappropriate.
You're repeating what comics say.
Yeah. In the privacy of like a green room or like
all the while saying nobody could save this but this person.
Right.
Nobody uses these words anymore.
Yeah.
Except for me in front of little Billy eating after church food.
That's right. It was Sunday brunch, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's the show. That's the whole show. You did get robbed a little bit because we didn't. I was out of town, so I didn't get a chance to cook. So we're definitely gonna have you back on to eat with us. But we took you out.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. It was such a good, fun meal.
It was
I love like local dives. And that I feel like that's kind of a local dive, but
Yeah.
There's a lot of
staple.
history with that. I didn't know that like famous people have been there.
Yeah, Guy Fieri. We're talking about the Steerin in
Huge
Irvington,
guys.
of course. The Steerin.
Well, it's a diner. Was it a drive-in at one point?
Yeah, it was originally.
So it's a diner, a drive-in, and a dive. I don't know if all of them check all three boxes for.
Is it Triple D's? Is that what it is?
That's what his show's called, Triple D's. Double D's on the Triple D's.
Triple's the
Every
best.
D, every D.
Oh, thank you.
every day. Wait, every D.
Yeah, every day a new D.
Every day a new D.
It was
Every kiss begins with D.
does it? It was originally a drive-in called Harold's.
Okay.
And
No way.
yeah, it was a drive-in called Harold's for forever, and then I'm not sure. I think it was like either in like late night or I think in the 2000s it became the Steerin or whatever. But when during COVID they actually went back to the drive-in model, and
nice.
so like when Thad we first moved in. We went. I was like, "Oh, we gotta take you to the Steerin," and we went and sat in our car, and they brought out the tray and everything, and we had like milkshakes and
fun.
and it was just like everyone had their mask on or whatever, and it was like, "Oh, this is good. It was the fun part of COVID,
Right.
Tiger King and drive-ins and
Milkshakes. and
massive deaths."
Podcasts. Why did you laugh after you said deaths?
Because it was really a sad. It was a sad laugh,
Oh, I get those sometimes.
right?
I get those at funerals.
Yeah, me too. If somebody I know specifically, I'll just laugh, and then people.
Yeah.
I've ruined a lot of friendships. I'm surprised you guys just didn't kick me off right there.
I mean, the day's still young. I say there's plenty of time for kicking it out. I was telling this story about you. Well, it was a story about me, but you were in it. You were on my very first comedy show that I ever did.
Oh, right.
And it was like a little coffee shop here in Irvington.
Yeah.
And it was you, me, Stacy, Zane Zadie, and I think that was it.
Okay.
And I think Dylan hosted or something.
I remember that little coffee spot. It was a cozy.
And it was great. And we were like, they had the garage door open. It was a nice day, and we did it outside. And it was real weird because it was all Irvington people that were either like, I used to wait on them at Blackacre, or they were like friends and fans of the food truck. So I felt like I was doing stand up for the first time, like in front of my family, kind of, you know. And I just remember like that was the first time seeing you, and I was like, I can't tell if this is a bit. Is this guy like crazy, or like is he a genius? I'm not sure what's going on. But it was very funny. But I remember like I felt like the crowd didn't know how to take it either.
Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of the way I approached it for the longest time, is like leaving them on the outside and then make them question the reality of the situation. Which if you think about it, I guess somebody that doesn't know what they're doing that goes up there like that, it could happen, but
Yeah.
not. I think most things are vented well enough to not let that.
Do you like kind of like leaning into the weirdness of like almost like a kind of quasi character?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like getting people to say more like a sociology experiment, getting people to like, is this really happening right now?
Is this theater?
Or is this just somebody who fell through the cracks and got up here somehow?
I feel like we've done a couple brunches like that.
Oh yeah.
We're like, is this a trap? Is this intentional? Or
you really excel at a lot of the like evening with the authors type things, where you do like character work and stuff. One of I think my top all-time favorite things that I ever saw at an evening with the authors is you got introduced. You were some sort of slug or some sort of character that was a slug.
Oh no, that was not me. That was
Heidi Klum.
I think Heidi Klum guested once. Her and I look a lot alike. So I know a lot of people have made that connection. Like, am I Heidi? Like sometimes I'll question myself when I wake up.
Yeah, you're like, is this Heidi's life?
Where do I stop and Heidi begins?
Right.
Wait, who did you say I was confused for?
I think that was Jason. Jason Hoffman did the slug. Wait, was that the slug that was real slow to get up there? Yeah, that was Jason.
That wasn't you?
No.
Oh man, I was just giving. I've been giving you credit for that bit for years in my head.
Dude, all week you've been like, we're going to talk about this.
We're going to talk about it. It's great. You're like, that wasn't me. That wasn't my character. Yeah.
No, we look a lot alike though, and we often will both wear paperboy hats. So,
what do you think Jason's doing right now? Do you think we can get him up there and finish this story out?
Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys got 45 minutes to track him down.
And he actually does a slug to get on here, right?
Yeah, he's gonna take that long. Oh my god. What was your like introduction into comedy? Like, when did you start comedy? Like, where were you going up at?
Well, it was a weird set of like a weird timeline. I started like in 1998.
Oh wow.
And I did comedy for a year here. It was the Crackers at Keystone at the Crossing at the time.
Oh wow.
And then after that, I went up to Chicago for a little bit to get involved in I.O. and Second City. And then 9/11 happened, and then I got into the family business for I was just
flag making.
Yeah, flag making.
Flag making made a killing.
Yeah, the Pfendler flags. you guys all had Pfendler flags when you were young.
Pfendler's finest flags.
Pfendler's finest flags. Remember this after 9/11, which was bad.
Some say that the Pfendler's like, I don't know if you saw that documentary about. They're like, did the Pfendlers cause 9/11?
I thought it was a real hit piece. I mean, I gotta tell you,
it's definitely not us. We were just in the right. We were just in the right business in the right time.
The flag makers got a lot of flack.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of wind blowing your ways towards flag makers.
I mean, we couldn't control how what would be in the background of George Bush when he made.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't your
his speeches.
You go to Chicago for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 happens. And then what happened?
I decided that,
it's time to grow up.
It's time to grow
be
up.
a real man.
Time to grow up. There's some other stuff going on. I was like, I need to be back home. So I moved back here and did that for about 10 years. And then eventually got back into comedy after being in that too long, because being in that line of work is daunting and gross and boring.
And so, what year is it when you come back?
I think it was it 2010?
Oh, okay.
2010, I started doing comedy again.
Nice.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, and then my dad's companies. After that, it was at half mast the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So, what was Second City like for you?
It was a very good experience. It was mainly at I.O. that first time I went up, and I went through all the classes there and got to. It opened my mind up to like being present and in the moment, and like really seeing what was in front of you, and just kind of losing sight of everything else, and just reacting to that next thing, and like just being present and reactive to the next, like the last word of dialogue that you heard.
That's great, because like even just sitting in here so far, I was like, I had that thought. I was like, man, he's good at yes-anding. Like you yes-anded that garbage that Thad gave you with Heidi Klum.
Oh right, yeah.
Turned it into a whole thing.
Right.
I was tapping out immediately. I was like, I don't know. I don't got nothing for Heidi Klum. And then I was like, oh, Second City, that makes sense.
Well,
all right,
yeah,
you're good.
I also love nonsense, so I'll climb on board to any running gag I can be a part of. I'm gonna join in. So
Yeah. That's what, like, I remember you just, like, swept it up. I don't know what your last character was when you did that. It wasn't Evening with the Authors. What's that one show that we just did? Where you make things up.
Squabble?
Squabble. My gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
your character with Squabble, you took it to a deep end.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Where is this going? But like, it was amazing. Everybody's crying, laughing.
Well, I was Santa Claus, right? I ended up being a mall Santa.
Yeah.
That was supposed to, maybe was the real Santa.
Yeah.
But I was about 20% Santa and then 80% a real person who also happened to be Santa.
yeah.
Like, who knew that Santa loved peach yogurt?
Yeah, and that's where you took it. To a peach yogurt loving Santa.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Do you have a preference about like when you're performing? Like, do you prefer stand up to doing kind of like character work or improv stuff?
It depends. For a while, it was like anything that was not stand up, I loved. But now after I recorded the album, there's kind of been a release there of pressure on, like, I'm just able to do whatever I feel like when I get up there, as opposed to the methodical
rigidness of having to finish off.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Very excited. You just had your first album.
First album release, yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
What was it? What was the name of the album?
The Waiting.
The Waiting.
The Waiting.
And is that in reference to when you started comedy in 1998?
Right, yeah, like it was, 10 years, 12 years coming, 22 years if you count all that. I'm still trying to figure out how old I am, though. We were talking about that earlier. And there's after we recorded it, I listened to it a few times, and I was like, well, there's 3 instances where the joke is about waiting. So then I was like, well, let's just...
Yeah, that's the through line.
Let's just put the arrow in the heart of the matter.
I love any comic that's as unique and distinctive as you. Like, there's no like Jonathan Pfendler types. There's nothing to people like, oh, except for me at that show when I got confused. Somebody was doing a bit. I would just take credit for that and say that was your bit.
Well,
I like how you want him to accept it, so you didn't have to be wrong.
You're right. It was me.
Give me some of that yes and. Come on.
I was that slug. I was ashamed to admit it, but that was me.
Has there ever been a TV show with like a narcissist and an improver? And like the narcissist is making the improver yes and everything. Like, you're gonna do the dishes.
Like forced yes and.
Yeah, forced yes and. You're gonna cut the grass. And do the dishes.
And do the dishes.
I feel like this premise is forced yes anding me.
Yeah. It wasn't good. Jonathan, where were you to save us from that one?
I saw Zach jump on that bomb. I'm gonna go with this subpar story.
Everybody was like, yeah, we love yes and everything. And then I threw that out. And it was just like, I'm not touching that stinker.
What is this? Isn't yes anding cool?
Yeah. We yes and everything except meta jokes about yes anding.
What if the yes ander was a bad guy? Nice.
Was a bad guy who also would gaslight after he got done. That's what a narcissist does.
Ooh, that would be even worse.
Yeah, or maybe it's a dark comedy. I don't know. Maybe you get real.
The narcissist would say, I didn't say any of that. You're crazy.
You're crazy.
All my friends agree.
Stop being crazy. That's how every horror movie is. Like, the first 45 minutes of every horror movie is just some woman getting gaslit because she saw demons or whatever.
Right. Like nobody believes her.
Yeah. It's always her husband like, honey, that's just normal blood coming down the walls. Right. Like, why are you freaking out?
Come on, Suzanne, grow up.
That's my one rule is I will always believe anybody on demon possession.
Yeah, that's your one rule?
Yeah, that's like one of my,
You might as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they're willing to go that route,
right,
either they're really committed or there's really a demon. And you know what? I don't want to fuck around with the other half of it.
I think there was a demon in the old house we were at.
Oh, there was.
In the mansion.
Wait, in the mansion?
There was one night I was by myself and I was watching something and I just had this feeling that there was a presence in the closet kind of area. And I could almost feel it like moving around the room. And I remember I just like I was like, I'm not going to panic. And I got up and I opened the door. And I was just like, just go into Thad's room because you weren't there.
That's bullcrap.
You were downstairs. So I was just
friends don't shoo demons into other friends' rooms.
Well, period. I was like, just go out into the house. Like, don't come. You're not trapped in my room.
You're trying to be nice to this demon?
Yeah, I was like, you're free. Just go.
It is cold outside, so go in Thad's room.
Can you imagine if the demon just needed someone to open the door? Like,
open the door. I don't want to torment your roommate. I just need out.
I just need out. I just need some fresh air.
A demon that's just so like just done with possessing people. Like, I'm just done.
Yeah. I may have.
I'm so tired of doing this.
I may have also been on some medical grade marijuana.
Nice. Oh, that makes more sense
for a condition. It was prescribed by a doctor
to get to get the demons out.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Thad, I've been dead for 5 years.
You are a ghost.
I am a ghost. No, I have. When I was a kid, there was a weird happening in my bedroom one night. I was looking at.
You're not alone.
I was looking at a radio that was off. I was staring at it. It was off.
Unplugged off or just off?
Off. Like
okay.
Turned off. I was looking at it. I looked at it for about 10 seconds, and then it just turned on, and you could hear it go bing, and the old stereo with the record player on top and the tune knob that turned the
so the knob started turning.
It turned on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would have creeped me out.
And the fact that I was looking at it and it did that, I think I ran out of the room, or either that or I just crawled back in bed or under the covers and was like, it all went away.
You know how crazy that story sounds to like the Gen Zs? like sometimes electronics just turn on. No, not these. These ones you had to push.
You had to push.
You had to push.
It was like rolling up a car window. There's no accidentally way that happens.
Right. So it was one of those knobs that was also the volume. So it was one that you turned and.
Nope, I would have kicked that thing straight into the trash.
Yeah, right.
Did you ever have a Teddy Ruxpin growing up?
No.
What's
no,
that?
I did not.
So it was this bear that you would put like a tape into, and it had different stuff on the tape. It would tell stories, and
I had one that was a Mickey Mouse, but it was the same thing. You put the cassette tape in its back or whatever.
Now I've heard stories about those things like kicking on like in the middle of the night, and Furbies. And there's actually
we had a Furby like that did that.
There's a whole website of like wild stuff that different because there's different error codes that can happen within a Furby. And it's like and they're all like demonic. It's like error code 7, it'll start speaking backwards. Error code and like turning on in the middle of the night and like doing stuff. And like all these people are like submitting their reports of like this wild stuff that Furbies have done. But like one of the biggest ones is turning on by themselves at random times.
All baby toys do that. All the electronic baby toys. So eventually, after your kids chewed on them for a while, they get like enough grime in them that they like the buttons either stick, they repeat, they won't work, or they just kind of go off at random times. And so it'll be like after the kids are in bed, we're just watching TV or something, and then in the corner, muffled under some blankets, something starts singing at you. Or when the batteries get real low and they start singing in the warped voice.
And you're blaming kid grime.
Well, I mean, it happens so much that I got to tell myself something.
You gotta be.
Right. Yeah, those are class level 5 ghosts.
Or your house is just lousy with ghosts.
You need some cleaning, man. This house is full of ghosts.
We have too many ghost crumbs on the floor.
You smell that? That's ghost.
Zach's the one gaslighting in the horror movies. It's like, it's just kid grime.
Kid grime.
I don't know why the kid grime makes you cry so much. It only tells you terrible things.
The elevator just let all this blood out in the living room. I think it's kid grime.
Yeah, why is it weird? We didn't even have an elevator.
Don't even have an elevator. Yeah.
The Shining, it was all kid grime.
It was all kid grime.
The whole movie.
He was kind of
stuck on the elevator buttons.
Yeah, right. Kid grime.
Kid grime. Kid grime. What's kid grime backwards?
No way you're gonna do that off the top of your head. He had so much confidence in his face too.
Kid grime backwards.
What was that? What was the experience like of making your first album? I mean, that's so exciting. Like, I don't know if people, non-comics know, but like making your first album, your first special, those kind of things are such big benchmarks. And it's like, I was talking to our friend Lucas Waterfill. I just went out of town with him this weekend, and he was just saying that like not only is it just like a weight off your shoulders to have it done, but like now you have something concrete. You know, it's just like when the ocean comes and washes you away, you'll always have this thing out there.
There's something there, and it got to the point where I'm glad I got it on record so I can stop like doing it.
Yeah. Are you done with all those jokes?
Most of them. I'll still do the songs.
Okay.
And I think there's one that wasn't finished yet that I'm still working on.
What's it like having like, do you feel like you have like a fan base now? Like you like the Pfendler Maniacs?
It's mostly just people that carry over from we were so successful in the flag business.
They all came back.
These colors don't run.
These jokes don't run.
Here and there, it was mostly when I had the release party. It was mostly people I hadn't seen in a long time.
Oh, okay.
I kind of was hiding in a shoe for a long time. So, I feel like it's given me more an opportunity to expand on that.
Like being social?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like I hadn't experienced that in a long time, and I was like, this is exhausting, but it was fun.
Yeah, a comedy really is a weird thing where it like forces you out of your shell a lot. Like,
oh man, yeah.
I got to the point with being on the food truck and stuff where I had totally just consigned myself to being hidden away in the back of the house. I was like, I don't like talking. I don't like talking to people. I don't want to be like interviewed on anything. You know, I'm just gonna hide back here and make food.
Right.
And then when I started doing open mics and stuff, I was like, well, it's different because I'm controlling the, you know, I'm just saying my piece and then leaving.
Yeah.
But like as the farther you go up, like I just did a show at Helium where like, you know, it's not for me. I was opening, but you know, the headliner's got 200 people in line. He's got 300 people coming in for the next show. And I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. You know, this isn't for me even, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm just on the show.
Right.
But I was just like, oh, it's good to train yourself. I've realized when I look back at how I was 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, there's been growth. Like I feel more comfortable talking to people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Same. Like, when I used to, after I'd get done doing a feature set, I would like, okay, time to hide in the green room for 30 minutes until everyone leaves.
Yeah.
And then now I'm just kind of like, I can actually take pictures with people now.
How are you with compliments?
I let them in, go through one ear and out the other, really. But
I feel like I think there's a part of me that never feels like any compliments deserved. So I have gotten better to the point now where I just go, I try to do a very sincere thank you, and like it's always is sincere coming from me, but I feel like it doesn't always sound. So I'm like, give them a sincere sounding thank you. I'm like, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate, you know, whatever. And then after that, if you throw any more compliments at me, I don't know what to do with them. Then I fall apart. I fold like a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
That's why I try not to compliment you.
You never have.
Yep.
Not a word.
I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I don't want you to get the wrong idea.
Why do you feel like you let it go one ear and out the other?
I'm afraid of what that. I don't ever want to trigger the ego.
Yeah.
I don't want that to snowball.
Because it can, right? And it does. We've seen it. We see what happens to people, and especially in entertainment, like you start getting that, and then like especially if you don't have any regular people around you to like keep you grounded. Look at Kanye, you know, like if you don't have people in your camp, and all of a sudden you like just around the echo chamber of yes men, like, oh yeah, Jonathan, you are the best. Like, everyone,
like these heart glasses. I wouldn't wear them if my friends didn't tell me I look cool in them.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't know you were actually wearing them. I thought that you were just emanating that much.
Yeah, right. And so
no, those are prescription.
Yeah, these are prescription heart glasses.
I feel like us not saying stuff about the heart glasses is kind of like gaslighting you.
No. Well, you just said something.
Let's go ahead and hit that boo button on that one.
That's for Zach, right?
That was for Zach, yeah.
I just want to make sure. That I didn't want to be booing myself.
It was like, yeah, hit it.
Listen, you've had enough of them. I'm taking a couple.
You don't have to take them.
No, you earned it.
You earned it.
You earned
I don't like that.
We did it. You're on thin ice with that soundboard, Zach.
I'm bringing my own button.
Let's take a quick break. And do we have a new ad ready?
I think so.
All right. Enjoy our new ad because we are now on Spotify for podcasters.
This week on the After Brunch Podcast.
The police report that I got was just police are holding a naked, one-eyed grandma on the ground waiting for DCS to arrive. So that was, waiting on me to show up to decide what to do.
That would be my gang name.
One-eyed grandma.
Yeah. Naked. One-eyed grandma.
Well,
she...
Yeah. There's
Dyke wants
layers.
me to tell the rest of the story.
There's layers.
So she was known on this certain side of town because she would stand in construction zones and yell, "Someone come fuck me," just over and over.
Oh, yeah.
And then I found out later that a nurse friend I had also knew her because she's been in a lot for herpes in her eye socket because she was letting gentlemen finish in her eye socket as part of the deal. So,
And is a grandma.
yeah.
The grandma part's the deal breaker for you.
Join us at patreon.com/Harder Brunch.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking to comedian Jonathan Pfendler. Jonathan, I did want to have kind of a serious talk with you. Sure. I feel like this is important because you brought some wank ass coffee into this studio. We're not going to mention the name of the place that you got it from.
It's called Blue Tape Coffee.
You brought some Blue Tape coffee and we just want to tell you here that we think that kind of coffee is garbage, right? It's not good coffee.
I don't disagree with you.
We would have given you the good stuff. We would have given you some Tinker coffee. That's what we would have given you.
Okay.
Locally roasted coffee, low acid. It's great.
It is.
You can get coffee subscriptions. You can have coffee sent to your house. If you use promo code BRUNCH, you get 25% off.
You can get it at Whole Foods. I get the conduit blend at Whole Foods.
Oh, so you know.
I know.
You know all about it. Mm-hmm. Because obviously we love Tinker coffee, but what's the worst coffee? Because I think worst coffee is either a tie between the coffee when you get your oil changed or bank coffee.
Okay. Well, there's worse than bank coffee is when you're getting your oil changed. Mm-hmm. That coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bank coffee is pretty bad. There have been several gas stations that I've been surprised at their coffee.
Yeah, how bad it is.
Well, how good it is.
Oh, how good it is. Oh, I feel like any place that has like the old school urns, that are like if there's only one or two, then it's going to be pretty bad. Mm-hmm. It's going to be pretty scorched out.
Yeah, there's some like tire places that they have like shavings of metal in their coffee.
Right. I mean, and I'm not opposed to like some mornings just dropping in
to get
a cup of coffee and just say, "Hi guys."
Yeah.
And then I walk out and then they're like, "Who is that?"
Yeah, that's not above you.
No. Anything for that sweet, pour nectar, coffee nectar, the bad stuff.
The bad
stuff.
I got in trouble one time because I went into a Speedway and they have that coffee island thing, and I was taking a video of it for something. I can't remember. It was like it was a joke I was gonna send to a friend, and the manager came out and was like, you cannot video record our coffee. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, I need you to delete that right now. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, she would not let me leave the store until I deleted the video that I took of the coffee. And so like now I just want to go into Speedway stores and videotape their coffee and just and look like I'm like taking notes like while I'm in there,
That was not a rule. She just wanted to like die on that hill for some reason that day.
I had somebody, I was dropping off mustard for a place, and so they were a customer of mine, but like I would just drop it off and leave an invoice. And on my way out, I would take a picture, like a selfie in the restaurant, and so I could post on social media.
Yeah.
So I did that, just did a real quick one. So I come in this place, go in the back, come back out, take a selfie, and then go into my car. And then I'm in my car posting, and then this guy comes and knocks on my window, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing in my restaurant?" It was like some manager I'd never seen before.
Looking like a complete weirdo.
Sorry to interrupt. This beer, real quick, is very good. It's chill sesh. I'm really getting into it. The guava in it is amazing. It's almost like there's chunks of guava going down your throat, but there's not. It's so good. It's called Upland Beer. If you're not drinking Upland Beer, you're in the wrong place.
You may also know it as Patio Cat, which is the brand name of it.
Patio Cat. It's got guava.
Yeah, made of guava.
Guava chunks.
Fresh guava chunks, allegedly.
It goes smoothly down your throat.
Yeah, it's all throat based promotion here on Harder Brunch.
Well, that's the part of the eating process.
Is the junkiness?
The throat.
It is.
Throat.
And do you know?
Come on.
I've always, growing up, I was always scared to swallow because I was like, the breathe hole and the eat hole are the same one. What happens if I screw this up? So every swallow was like life or death.
So you were very aware of that.
Yeah.
At a high, how old would?
I remember being in first grade and being like, I have to eat this whole plate in 20 minutes and then go back to class in front of all these kids. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
And
What broke you of that?
It's like, I don't care if I live or die.
No hope. That's what did it.
No, it's really freeing.
Who were some of your comedy idols that you looked up to when you were
When I was
younger?
a kid, I remember being as a young kid being influenced by Bobcat Goldthwait and
That's great.
Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
And then the Saturday Night Live at the time, I think, was the Billy Crystal, Martin Short crew. And then Eddie Murphy still from watching the reruns of him on SNL
Yeah.
before that. And then it got into
This makes a lot of sense.
the 70s SNL with Belushi and that crew, because that was kind of renegade stuff. And then Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah.
yeah, for
And then
sure.
that got me to high school, I think.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of Kaufman-esque qualities about you.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Did you ever just do straight forward stand up? Hey, I'm this guy. I'm telling this joke and da 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 da.
Actually, I feel like I'm doing more of that.
Now?
I'm more comfortable on stage now than I've ever been. I think some of that was also a defense mechanism back when I was first starting.
Okay.
It was a middle ground between my true self and what I presented on stage. But now I feel like I'm truer to self on stage.
Yeah. Okay.
But I also still like to do weird shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the weird shit's where it's at.
Right.
Yeah. No one forgets the weird person, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I just try to be closer, true to self, and I think everybody's pretty weird, and I think we should celebrate those things as opposed to try to hide them away.
Absolutely. And you were talking about a lot of your influences being these comedic actors. Have you ever done any just straight acting before? Is that something you're interested in?
Or gay acting.
Straight gay? I mean, no, I'm open to both.
Being straight or gay?
The acting, straight or gay acting.
Naughty. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I got my own button.
Oh, it's a naughty button.
I think you have to hold it up to the microphone if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Does that have a British accent?
It did. I'm going to hit it one more time.
Naughty, naughty, naughty.
I really at first thought that was you doing a shitty British accent. I was like, did you record the naughty on the button?
No.
It says in the back, this is not a real British accent.
For fake British accent use only. Break in case of emergency. So you just got done with this special. You've dumped all the material.
Dumped it all.
You're starting fresh.
Fresh.
What's that feel like? What's that like?
It's been freeing. I know you guys know this from just going up there without with no set, going on stage without any set, like structure, and then just kind of being present and making the thing that's funny, the thing that's happening right then and there.
Yeah.
And just not really putting a lot of effort into the mechanics, just going out there and trying to react and be funny.
Will you go up there with no jokes?
I've made a point recently to try to avoid doing my jokes as a last ditch effort.
Oh, wow.
Like going up there and trying
just seeing what comes.
Saying what comes. Some of it is things I've thought about during the course of the day,
but nothing's
nothing
fleshed out.
Nothing's fleshed out, and
I'm having anxiety just from thinking about that. The idea of doing that.
It was anxiety, I think, the first few times, but now I don't even really think before I go up there. It's been fun.
That's great.
You just kind of go up there and that's it.
And see what comes out.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Now, is that is that different than your normal writing process, or is that how you like to always start off and let things take shape from there?
I think I was always I think that, like you said, it's anxietal because it's kind of walking up to a cliff. There's a part of me that used to get caught up too much in the structure.
Yeah.
And then so you would, or I would get lost in that structure, and then it would create a separation between me and the audience.
I feel like for me, if I don't go up with something, I've shown up to a class without my homework, and I don't really delve into a lot of crowd work unless I can react to something happening.
Yeah.
But just going up and being messing with people I don't trust myself enough for that, or to take a half fully formed idea that doesn't have a punchline necessarily.
Right.
And you go up to stage and be I'll figure it out when I get up there.
Right.
That is a nightmare for me.
Well, then see that latter is mainly what I've been doing.
Yeah, but you like it. That's what you're saying. You're enjoying it.
It's made the writing process easier too, because I'm doing it while I'm up there, and you get immediate response of whether or not it's something to keep or not.
Interesting.
It's interesting, where your brain goes. Okay, this is where the joke is going to go naturally, anyway.
Right.
And it's putting it under fire a little bit,
letting the subconscious take the wheel. And
yeah,
I feel like a lot. I feel like the spark of getting a new idea versus honing something that's already pretty good that you're working on. I did 4 shows this weekend, and I got one new line.
Okay.
I got one new line where I fixed something, and it just clicked in its place like it was always supposed to be there, and I was I figured it out. I was so happy.
Yeah.
That one little line. But starting off with a whole new thing, it's exciting in one way, right? Because you're I'm so tired of these jokes.
Yeah.
But then there's also the comfort of when you get a joke that just doesn't run, I know when I get this baby out of the garage what it does, this is great, versus going to the junkyard and fumbling around for parts.
Right.
I'm going to build this car from memory,
I recently just did that recently. I had something happen to me, and I was I need to tell this on my next set where I have a longer time and I want to talk about it to a crowd and find the funny parts with them. Recently, one of my white friends took me to Underground Railroad for a Airbnb, and I was just thinking about how funny it is. Now, when a white friend takes you to an Underground Railroad, maybe they're trying to be catchy or this is being cute. Oh, this is interesting. But before, back in the day, people taking you to the it was a white person taking you, but it wasn't ironic.
Yeah, it was trying to help you, not just
for safety.
For safety, yeah. Well, I guess it's all Airbnb Airbnbs are for
Safety.
at the end of the
At the end of the day, you're right. They're probably right up there with the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, all Airbnbs are safety, but not all underground railroads are Airbnbs.
That's true. Which got me into the rating system. Like, I want to go back in time and rate the best Underground Railroad.
A Yelp for underground railroads.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's great. I like that idea.
So, and I just wanted to do a skit now of me and my wife going to this Underground Railroad. Like, so where are we sleeping? Up down there
in the cellar.
in that cellar, in our blankets. Where are those? Our last ones. We had a fluff pillow and some chocolates. This Underground Railroad will get 3 stars.
It should be maybe instead of stars like rats. How many rats are in the cellar? Like this is a 5-rat Underground Railroad style.
It's like an opposite scale, though, right?
Yeah, the more rats, the bad. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I wanted to give them some dignity. I mean, come on. I mean, they're slaves. They're runaway slaves. So
they're hiding. I mean, assuming they weren't luxurious like,
Rats,
accommodations.
though?
Yeah.
no, we're gonna do it in stars.
Okay.
And
That's the part. That's the part that's
Oh, sorry. I went too far with this.
Jeez.
yeah,
You really ought to make the room awkward, Dyke.
Thank you.
We were trying to have a good time.
But yeah, I don't know. I just thought, or it'd be a quick indie film of like the best Underground Railroads
Yeah, that's a weird thing to.
spots.
I mean, all Underground Railroads were the best.
In the situation, but there was some that weren't good cooks.
If you got,
Right.
I feel like if you got caught though, then that wasn't a good one.
That's probably the worst one.
Yeah.
One
Yeah, the
star.
checkout policy is terrible.
One rat. Someone literally did rat us out. It was one person. There we go. That's how you bring it back.
Hey,
The little kid ratted us out.
Yeah.
He was gonna do it.
Can you imagine like hiding in the cellar somewhere and just seeing like a little kid like talking to the sheriff and he's like pointing?
Kid's racist. Shut up. Your dad and mom really support this decision. You're like, I'm tired of black people hiding in my house. Like, it's caused a lot of stress on my 5-year-old life. I'm tired of black people being in my basement or in the closet or the attic.
And that little kid was Tucker Carlson's great grandpa.
Oh, take that, Tucker.
Take that, Tucker.
Take that, TC.
Oh my gosh, what are your? I've been asking everybody this because hopefully we're coming out of winter here. Like, what are your big plans for the summer this summer?
Big plans for the summer. Well, I've got over the winter. I took in 2 more huskies, dogs,
2 more than what?
than the one I already had.
Okay, so you're at 3 huskies,
3 huskies,
3 dog night.
3 dog night.
Triples is best.
So I'm really just wanting to spend a bunch of time out in the nature with those guys, getting them
Nice.
properly acclimated to rational.
Do you have like
Dog behavior.
Do you have like a leash with 3 collars on it?
I've got.
It's called the Cerberus.
I don't. I have 3 leashes. I have often done 1 leash and then put a smaller leash on the 1 leash. So,
And then just have the dogs walk each other.
right,
Nice.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
right. So then I can just stay inside.
Who's walking who here?
That's what they spend the time trying to figure out, and then I just laugh.
You're like, it was really the friends we made along the way. That's who's walking who.
So that's who's walking in. And then there was another set of footprints.
I was carrying you.
There's a 3rd set there.
There's a 3rd set of paw prints.
It's a real wag the dog. No. Wag the dog situation.
You got the button.
No, you can't use my own button that I bring to the podcast against me. There's rules here. There's rules.
No T.
Do you,
Trying to figure out whose voice that is. It sounds very familiar.
Is it Michael Myers?
I was trying to think of.
I bet you it is. I bet you it is from like Austin Powers or something.
They can rewind it if they want to hear it again.
Right.
Naughty, naughty, naughty.
No,
Maybe
that's not Michael
no, it's
Myers.
that's definitely not Mike.
Who's the Simon guy that
Simon Cowell.
that does all the judging? Is that him?
It might be.
Ooh, why would he say that during a song?
I don't know. Maybe
They did something naughty.
Right. Something to qualify saying it 3 times.
Yeah.
Do you get inspiration like when you're like out walking your dogs in nature for your like? Because like I've always found like I just went to Ohio and just like being on any kind of even like a short road trip, just getting out of sight, breaking up your normal routine.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in my normal routine, I'm doing the same things, the same concerns.
Right.
It doesn't for me tend to generate a lot of creative thought as much. But then anytime I disrupt that and I go like and do something else, I just feel like all of a sudden everything's firing.
Right.
I'm having all these ideas and, you know, I'm doing comedy and I'm like, oh man, like I got to write this stuff down. There's almost like too much.
Yeah. So what did I read recently that was like, if you keep going to the same apple orchard, pretty soon there aren't going to be any apples left.
Yeah.
So if you keep going to different ones.
That's also a terrible analogy because like you could, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you could go to an apple orchard your whole life and not even touch all the apples.
Yeah, I've never been to one, so I don't know.
So you're saying that if you don't use any of your jokes, you can keep creative and still have all of them in reserve.
From what I understand, most apple orchards want you to come back. It like makes the money returning guests and all that.
I know what you're saying though. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I need to go read that again and come back with
If you
it.
go to the same cow, the milk
The cow eventually dies.
dries up.
I feel like we don't tear apart our guest sayings enough, you know, with them on the air.
Here, let me see if I can come up with another one.
Yeah, I like these Pfendler sayings.
It's like when you go to a movie theater and you watch the movie, and then the movie's over, and then you sit there. Is the movie over?
Not if it's a Marvel movie.
Yes, that's a trick question.
There'll be some.
Oh yeah,
There's put some like little extra in there.
but it was more like where does the movie start and the life end? The life start, the movie.
This would make a good coffee table book.
I was hoping you guys were gonna rip into it.
We gave you some.
We agreed with it.
That's good. We got no further questions, comments.
Too much yes anding.
That's great. Yeah. No, I make a terrible improver. I'm just like somebody walks up and be like, "I'm an underwater lawyer." I'm like, "That's good." that's
Good for you.
Yeah. Cool.
That's a awesome thing to acknowledge out loud to everyone.
Wait, did I miss the answer to you actually being at Second City?
I went through that later on. I went back to Chicago like every weekend for like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And I went through the IO program again and the Second City program.
And you were performing there, and
I was performing not on like the main stage, but just like in groups and stages there at the theater.
did you ever get to perform on the main stage? I don't know what the process is for it, I guess.
No, not on the main stage. No, just the group. Like there's several groups that run through there that they run through.
I was amazed when I went up there, like, cause like I had only seen kind of like local improv, you know,
And that's
and then like I went to Second City. I mean, well, like obviously we've all seen like Who's Line, and stuff like that. But it's like there's like Who's Line. There's like wait, don't tell. Like there's like and then there's like Second City, and then like I don't know of any other top tier places to go for improv. But like watching like high level improv like that, I was like, oh, this is like a completely different thing. Like this is amazing,
right. As opposed to just like a lot of the
what we've been doing this whole episode.
Naughty.
And there's like a lot of the local stuff here, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like games and it's just
entry level kind of stuff.
Well, one dimensional as opposed to like the 3-dimensional of actually doing scenes and being like a real person going through something and then watching that transform and then watching the stuff, like all these scenes connect somehow toward the toward the end.
So were they doing like serious improv too, or like not serious, but like dramatic improv as well?
All improv is serious.
Yeah, that's
That's what they say.
I caught myself. But like non-comedic, I guess. Is there like non-comedic improv as well, or is it all kind of comedic?
There's one of my teachers was, and I really adopted this philosophy, and a lot of it is he would say real feel, no bullshit. So it would be real scenarios, doing real things, and the humor would come from the truth of the situation.
Okay.
And then sometimes the most dramatic moments can, like, there's the heightening of that, in which will turn something funny quicker because of how high the drama is. That makes
Yeah.
I'd love to do like a fun example. Let's like say like, all right, all three of us, we just went skydiving.
okay.
All right, and we're falling, and
Okay.
one of the chutes is not working.
So we're falling. We're currently falling at
Yeah.
the same, and we're able to have a conversation.
Yes.
And one of the chutes doesn't open.
One of our chutes.
No, does that violate the rule of like real life stuff?
No, I'm assuming that's probably happened
Okay.
Twice
at least twice.
for me. No, that has not happened.
You're very lucky,
Thank you.
or very. I guess it depends on how you look at it.
It wasn't that high.
Oh,
Like a foot off the ground.
good for you. way to judge the poor parachute properly.
Thank you.
Wait, where are we? Okay.
I have no idea. We were falling out of an airplane.
So we're falling out of an airplane. One of the
Yeah.
chutes doesn't open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, guys! I don't think my chute's opening. Help!
Did you try? Isn't there a spare chute? Isn't there? I just thought there was a spare chute.
I took his spare chute because I thought I might need it.
I need help right now, guys. Can you?
Thad, I think now is a good time to let you know that you're always taking his stuff without him knowing, and I think this is a very good time to make you aware of this.
I'm thankful that you're calling me out here in the sky, and I want some time to think about it and process. Would you ever forgive me for?
Can somebody
taking your
please grab my bag?
Hold on, Thad has stolen something from you, and this is a
wrong.
serious crime.
Yeah, it was wrong of me. Here, I'm going to give the bag to you because I don't deserve this. I don't think I could face him.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'll take good care of this bag.
Thank you.
Splat.
There you go.
And scene.
Insane.
Insane.
Yeah, this is just reminding me why I never want to do improv.
Right.
You didn't feel like you were falling?
It looked like you were falling.
It's my worst. Well, it's like bombing on stage as a stand-up is one thing because I'm just like, I'm responsible. I went in there with a game plan or no game plan.
Right.
It all falls on me. But like improv is such a team sport that like everyone has to be operating on the same level,
Right.
you know, or it stinks.
Yeah.
You can't have one person that's good at improv and three other people that aren't.
Well, and even then, at least half the time, it's probably going to be average
Yeah.
or worse.
I think there's so much. I think the build up to when it's bad to when it's good is so different in improv than stand up comedy. But then once it gets good, like once it gets to that top tier, like I remember just being amazed at it and just being like, wow, this is like a real magic trick. Also, the seats at Second City are all so close together. I had a problem with that, but that was kind of side note.
So during COVID or after?
Be
Pre-COVID.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, they pack them in there, man. In that main.
Oh yeah, I think okay.
It's like asses to elbows in there. Like I was like, oh, like I'm really supposed to be this close to the person next to me I didn't come with.
Right. Then they'll put there's 4 tops and seats, right? So they'll just put people together who don't.
Yeah, because it's like an old like historic building or whatever.
Well,
But yeah, it's
technically,
crazy.
back in the day, people were littler.
Yeah.
So that's what we're kind of facing.
Right.
People's frames were much smaller than
Much smaller.
the 2023 frame.
Yeah, he's talking
we
about the
have today.
early aughts. People were smaller back then.
Right. It was a lot
2006.
Before we went through the great enlarging.
for the fast.
It's not something we laugh about.
That's what I call COVID.
the fast food era.
Oh, okay. You guys are making jokes about this, but people were much more smaller.
Yeah.
Then they were much smaller then than they are now.
Yeah.
So which one is the tragedy, that they were smaller then or that we're bigger now?
There's technically more people around now.
I don't know. I think it's a paradox.
Can you drop a beat for me? Jonathan Pfendler, thank you so much for being on our show today. First of all, where can people check out that special, and then where can people follow you on social media?
You can find my album on iTunes or any of the streaming places. You can find me at Evening with the Authors, the first Thursday of every month at the White Rabbit.
Nice.
And then just wherever I'll end up being, and hopefully we can find that connection and you can get there.
And that may have been the nicest send-off we've ever had from a guest.
Yeah.
Zach Rome?
You can find me at Kid Grime on all social media.
Just all kid crime.
All Kid Grime. All the time.
Daddy's Jake.
And you can find me at Thad McKee on Instagram or Twitter.
At Dyke Michaels on all social media. Guys, we have an amazing Patreon. It's patreon.com/Harder Brunch. Only $3. You get access to our entire After Brunch comedy podcast library. It's really fun. We get a cut loose if you want to hear more of this improv. You know where to go. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.